This is the plaintiff, Sharika Bell. She says she hired the defendant to make her custom t-shirts for her daughter's first birthday. And that guy botched the job big time. She didn't get what she ordered. The shirts weren't personalized, and she's here seeking a full refund of the $1,700 she paid because what he delivered to her is worthless. This is the defendant, Darius Stallworth. He says he did a great job on the t-shirts and delivered them on time for the party. He's quite shocked by this lawsuit because he never got any complaints from the plaintiff after the party and doesn't owe her any money because he did a great job. He's accused of a shirting disaster.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that she hired the defendant to make t-shirts for her kid's first birthday, and the defendant botched the job. But the defendant says did a great job on the shirts, delivered them on time, and doesn't owe her a refund. It's the case of a shirting disaster.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Bell, you hired Mr. Stallworth to do some t-shirts for you for your baby's one-year birthday, which was quite the bash.
Yes, it was.
How many people did you have at her 1 year? I'm sure she's going to remember it very fondly. Well, how many? It's not for them; it's for us. But how many people did you have at that party?
A lot over 100.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so, what is it that you hired the defendant to do?
I asked Mr. Stallworth, can he provide the shirts for her party?
All right.
It's supposed to have a picture of her saying, birthday, mommy of the birthday girl, you know, the title of
whoever's wearing
every
it.
person that was there.
Right, like grandma of the birthday girl or that kind of stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So this is what you asked for, correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I wanted.
Okay. And how many t-shirts did you order?
Originally, it's supposed to have been 50, but it was so many people coming, and I didn't want anybody to feel left out. So it was about almost 90 shirts that was supposed to have got made.
And you placed that order when?
The first order was made the beginning of February is when I first...
And the party was going to be on April 3rd?
Yes.
Okay. And then you added the other shirts when?
Like 2 weeks later.
So what I want to know is what ends up happening. Let's bring us to the day before the party.
Basically, he tell me that he's still waiting on 50 shirts to come. And he was like, well, I'm going to try my best to figure it out. Me and my dad going to get it taken care of. You have nothing to worry about. No pressure. It's going to get handled. That's what I was told. So I was confident that
Why would that make you confident? There's not a word that came out of his mouth that would make me confident. That sounds awful. If he doesn't physically have the t-shirts, how's he finishing half the job? So anyway, the day before the party, did you send, on March 31st, did you send somebody to pick up, this is a couple days before the party, did you send somebody to pick up the order?
Yes, my mom was going to pick up the shirts.
And then what happened on the 31st? Your mom's out there, and what happens?
She waited 2 hours, and she was like, hey, I'm not getting a response. Can you message him to let him know that I'm outside, which I did. And then he informed me that he will, bring the shirts, like meet her halfway to get the shirts.
Because they still weren't ready?
Finished.
Okay. And then, so that's on the 31st of March. Then I see that on the day of the party, you send someone else to go pick up the shirts, right?
Yes.
There was no meeting halfway. He was supposed to deliver them at this point, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then he says to you by text, listen, if I have to drive over there, I'll never finish.
Yes. My mom came that morning, the shirts wasn't ready.
Oh, geez.
So I'm like, hey, so I had to ask my auntie to go later on that day.
Okay. So your auntie goes, and then how late is your auntie for the party?
She was already like an hour and a half late for the party. So I stopped my auntie out there, and he was like, hey, most of the shirts don't have the words on it. I couldn't finish.
He couldn't finish putting the words on it that say cousin of the baby, grandfather of the baby, or whatever it was.
No, he said he completely ran out of all of his products.
Right. So what was missing?
He told me that he had the main shirts done. My kids didn't have no shirts, which would have been the main shirt. My kid, the grandparent, Only one set of grandparents had on the shirt. The rest
that's even worse than no grandparents.
That's even worse.
That is infinitely worse than no parents having shirts. Okay.
Yeah, it was just
disaster.
Yes.
In the end, you ended up, your aunt ends up bringing all of the shirts, and the problem is that it's late and many of them are missing what the relation is. But did you get all the shirts?
I did not get all the shirts. Majority of the shirts was youth size shirts, which I didn't receive none of the youth size shirts at all.
All right, Mr. Stallworth, what happened here?
I had no product to work with. When she first called me and inquired, I didn't have nothing.
I heard that. I don't know why you didn't. Why didn't you have product to work with?
Honestly?
Yeah, honestly.
My apartment was it was shagged in, got stolen in. All my Cricut cutter, everything was gone. So
why did you take the job?
Because I knew her and I felt like I could do it, honestly. And I wanted to keep the business going. I didn't want to stop business. So I tried to conquer the job, but it's just life. Things happen, things get in the way. It's just.
Okay, so her mother went on the 31st and you still weren't done. Then her mother went on the 3rd and you still weren't done. And she had to send a third person because I read your text to her where you said, hey, if I got to drive all the way out there, I'm never going to be done. That's going to take too much time. So now she has to send somebody to get to the party an hour and a half late because you can't deliver. You can't fulfill your end of the contract. So she wants money back. So tell me how you didn't fulfill your end of the contract. Life got in the way. Yeah, life is full of interruptions. The question is, who does that cost? Why should she pay full price for this stuff when you didn't fulfill your end of the contract?
No, and I also offered her to pay money back. I did offer
How much?
That, about $200.
How much money in total did you get from her? $953?
About 900. Yes,
953. And so you offered her 200 back. Let me ask you a question. Were there any youth-size shirts for the kids for her party?
Yeah. It was a lot of adult shirts that I was missing, and that was because the Amazon was really tripping that week. I don't know what was going on with them. My order didn't even come, and so we had to go in store to get shirts, and that costed way more money.
Yeah, I think you waited too. That's a you problem. That's not a her problem because you charged her for supplying the shirts. So if you can't get it at the deal you want it with Amazon because Amazon didn't deliver it on time, then yeah, you got to get shirts so you can comply with your contract. That's on you. But what you did was you waited until the very, 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 very last minute, hoping the cheap Amazon shirts would come in. And when they didn't, then you went and bought the shirts, and then you didn't have time to finish everything. You say there wasn't a single youth shirt in that group?
It was not.
Not one.
None.
And why are you
Not
saying
one.
that there was, Mr. Stallworth? Do you have a receipt for buying youth shirts?
I don't, but I have.
All right.
I scratched off everything that I completed.
What do you do for a living? Is this your job, or is this something you do on the side?
It's a side job.
Oh, thank God for that. What time is it, Douglas?
Ooh, we're ruling. Time to rule.
Can I please say something?
No, honey, it's so unnecessary.
Or is this time for rough justice?
That's what it is. It's time for a little rough justice because it's kind of, I know you want $1,700. You're not going to get that. And you did get some shirts, okay? And that's worth something because people are walking around with shirts, okay? And I saw the pictures and you got cheated in many regards. The shirts weren't delivered. You had to pick them up 3 times. You had the stress of having them come late in the middle of a party. And you had the additional stress of having many of them be wrong. And according to you, some of them non-existent. So I'm going to order him to return 75% of what you paid him. And that's a judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $714.75. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff's going to get back $714, not $1,700. I don't know if she's happy with that. But Mr. Stallworth, the defendant, you can't be surprised at the judge's decision, are you?
It's okay. It's all right. I mean, I feel like I delivered, what I could. I didn't do what I really, really wanted to do, because like she said, it was at the very last minute. So it's all, I guess fair game.
Yeah, well, you didn't deliver what she wanted and what she paid for. That's why you got to give 3/4 of the money back. So, sorry, but that's the judge's verdict. You got to live with it. Ms. Bell, let me ask you, you're not getting back nearly what you wanted, but are you okay with that, the $700?
I'm okay.
You okay with that?
Yes, sir. Something is better than nothing, because, he didn't offer nothing back. And I just hope that this does not happen to anybody else, because it's really stressful and it's sad.
Well, I think everybody would agree with that. But was the party a total bust because of the shirts, or was it somewhat successful? How would you answer that?
I would say at the end, it turned out successful.
Okay. That's the important part. Good for you. Congratulations. Harvey?
Doug, I want to tell you for a second the difference between small claims court and larger courts. In a superior court, a court of general jurisdiction, you have to prove damages to the penny. Small claim court judges are allowed to do what we call, and the judge calls, rough justice, which is to try and make an equitable solution to a legal issue.
Why can't litigants get lost wages? Judge Milian often says courts to make you whole, and I know it can be expensive, but isn't that kind of their problem, the other party's problem?
The entitlement to lost wages has to be like statutory or part of a it's not like normally a compensable expense. If you have a $100 repair case and the guy's a brain surgeon, is he going to turn it into a $10,000 case? That's not how it works.
Because a couple hours of his time is worth that.
Right. So if I feel like if I can't sue the brain surgeon because it'll cost me $10,000 over a $100 case, brain surgeons never get sued.
Right. Get away with everything. Those brain surgeons. Them and the rocket scientists.